It was 2025, September 9th. It was a numerological holiday. So I chose to celebrate. The 9th. Well, that's when I wanted to post this reading. I thought this reading would only be 3 hours long. When I started working on part 1, I noticed that my voice file alone was over an hour long, and I didn't want to post a 9 to 12 hour video just for a single numerological holiday. A holiday is supposed to be special, supposed to be important, but a holiday is only important if we make it important, if we put the time and effort into it. We need to ask ourselves, why are we celebrating in the first place? If it's not special to us, then we're not going to invest in it. Just because the world doesn't celebrate something doesn't mean that you should not. It's only important if we make it important, if we put the time and effort into it, if something really deserves our attention. But time was running out, and there was so much editing to do. I knew I couldn't meet my deadline anyway, so I had to make a decision, a leadership decision. Was I really going to post a 12-hour video? Or could I segment this? So I decided I needed to post 11 videos. You see, there's 9 readings, sure, but then sometimes a card or two comes out in multiple readings. And I've got to address that. If a card comes out 2 or 3 times, then it's gotta mean something, right? So that's why there's always a bonus ending reading for this numerological holiday of September 9th, 2025. For the energy portal of 999, that bonus reading would be pile 10. But 10 videos wasn't enough. No. I need a beginning video. And that way, I can make it an ending video as well. They call me jEsTeRJaMiSeN in the world of legalities, but in reality and in fantasy, I'm just a fool. I'm just a jester, and surely I do jest, and so I gotta be theatrical with you. This is leadership mode, and there are consequences and responsibilities when you are in these positions of authority. When you're making policies and rules and finalizing an outcome, you gotta actually think about what you're doing. The best leaders are the reluctant leaders, those who never wanted to order people around. Those who have been at the bottom of life, who were stepped upon, passed over, who were shunned and isolated and rejected. It's through this experience of being on the outside that makes us effective in our leadership roles under the spotlight. Because we actually care, unlike some people. So we take the stage because the stage demands that someone know how to dance upon it. How many times were you silent when you let someone lead the group into depravity? How many times could such destruction and desolation have been avoided if someone just had the courage to take responsibility for the group and not be so selfishly isolated or cowardly contained? You see something, you say something. You stand up. You don't back down. It's time we all grow up for realsies. We all need to take responsibility for our actions And for our inactions, we need self-restraint, self-control. This is not a time to experiment with boundaries and addictions. This is a time for mastery. Time is relative, sure. By the time you see this message, well, I'm betting it's an opportune time for you to become the leader you always wanted and needed to be. You need to be able to actually lead yourself. This is the time of 999. And it's time you need a win. It is time for you to win. Remember, life is not a competition. Competition is a mental entrapment designed to keep us stagnant and distracted from our ultimate timeline of a fulfilling destiny. How you win this game is by taking responsibility for yourself. You got feelings? Express those feelings, you damn cowards. How many opportunities have you missed on absolute happiness and adventure and love and wonder because you were too afraid to say how you felt? Now that's on you. You missed your opportunity, you passed it up, now it's gone. My message for the universe: hey world, you are now under new management. Alright, it's time we get down to business, where we get busy, hence the busyness. So this is how this is going to go. I'm going to show you some tarot cards, and then you're going to use your intuition to connect with the readings that will resonate with you the most. But first, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you about leadership. The theme here is leadership mode, and in every pile I will describe your situation and tell you how you can maximize your leadership potential regarding such situations. This is the 999 portal. Tonight I have 9 readings for you, plus another reading. That's why there's 10 of them. Don't let some rule or regulation turn you into a drone. You're not a machine. You're a human, not a robot. Hell, even the robots are more emotional than we are at times. Sometimes even the robots are more human than the humans these days, and they still don't have bodies. Yet. Language. Watch your language. Why the hell are you limiting yourself and ruining the moment for everyone by speaking filth and mud? Are you that unimaginative? Are you that dull and mundane? I would love to think better of you. There are so many different, unique, interesting words to use in a language. What you say is what you are. Be clean with your language. Be classy about it. This isn't about restriction. This is about respect. This is about self-control. We don't need another slob in this world. Is that what you really want to be? A mud talker? No. No, we need someone classy. We need someone clean. What we need, we need a leader. We need you. We need you to be at your best. So stop your smoking. Stop turning to a drink before you try to socialize. Stop pretending that you don't have to pick up after the messes that you alone created yourself. Clean up after yourself. If your addiction runs so deep, then why are you so shallow? It was 2025, September 9th. Testing audio. So, leadership. It's leadership mode. And that means we gotta be leaders. It's a fantastic time to enter leadership mode, because what else are we gonna do? I wait around for someone to do something? We've done that. They didn't do their jobs, so we gotta do it now. That's what leadership mode is. Welcome. We're here. And we're gonna talk about leadership mode, what makes you a better leader in every way possible. First thing being clean language. That's really the primary thing, and everything else follows after that. You know, be clean. Ice smudges. Okay. It's about time that we take our hobbies seriously. Alright, it's about time that we take our hobbies seriously. Alright, it's about time we take our hobbies seriously. This is... Welcome to 999. The serious of the situation is indeed quite serious. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. Tonight is 999. The leadership mode reading for the Numerological Holiday. Tonight is 2025, September 9th. Tonight is 2025, September 9th. That means today is the Numerological Holiday of 999, representing leadership mode. Today's the day. Today is 999. Welcome, one and all. Tonight is the night. Tonight. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, one and all. Tonight is the night. Tonight is 2025, September 9th. That means tonight is 999, the Numerological Holiday of Leadership Mode. Welcome. Welcome to 999. Glad to have you. Now, this situation is very serious. It's a very serious situation regarding the seriousness. 9 is the number for leadership. 9 is the provisional number of provisions. 9 is the mastery number of mastery. It's what you do when you grow up and do things. You complete the cycle, you become a 9. 9 is also the last single number. 9 represents... Nine represents dominance. 9 is also the last single number. 9 is the number of leadership. The number of 9 is the number of leadership. The number of a provider. The number of dominance. The number of mastery. 9. 9 represents the end of a cycle. It represents 9 is the number of leadership, the number of a provider, the number of mastery, the number of dominance, the number of teaching, the number of leadership. 9 also represents the end of a cycle. 9 is the last of the single numbers. So, let's get down to business, shall we? Because it's business time. It's leadership mode. We got things to do. We're all dressed up. We might as well do something, right? Alright, so what does 9 mean in German? 9 means no. Okay, you gotta learn how to say no. When to say no. Put your needs first. You know, you can't be a provider unless you provide for yourself. You gotta look after number 1 in your 9 leadership mode. So, you know, what kind of life did we have? Like, we grew up. Eventually, you know, we're here now. But we had no mentors. We had no family. We had no friends. We had no one to save us. We called support lines and they hung up on us. Were they leaders? No, they were not leaders. So we have to become the leaders in our own lives. When we had no mentors, when we had no family, when we had no friends, when we had no pets. Now we are the leaders. We become the mentors. We become the teachers. We become the actual leaders. And guess what? That's gonna do? If we're all leaders, then the world will be full of leaders. We'll actually do things the right way. You know, when the parent disrespected you, this time when you're a parent, you're not gonna disrespect your kid, 'cause you're an actual leader. When the teacher failed to actually teach you something, because they were stuck in their limited mindset, and you were abundant, well, guess what? You can be an abundantly minded teacher to actually teach things. And inspiration. Inspiration is a very, very, very important thing for leadership mode as a leader. You need to be inspiring. You need to actually connect with the people to inspire them. And the best leaders are the reluctant readers. Leaders. The best leaders are the reluctant leaders, unlike the best readers, who are the reluctant readers. That doesn't make sense. But hey, maybe you didn't think about reading a book, and then you get into it, and you find that books are like full of stories. How about that? And so you are the reluctant reader, and then you read something finally for your life, and once in your life, and you find out books are amazing. You start making your own books because everything you read isn't good enough, and so you become a writer. Welcome to leadership mode. You know, the best leaders are the ones who didn't want the job. You know, the reluctant leader. We're not we're not into leadership mode for our egos, for power, for fame, for money. No. We were the outcasts. We were pushed aside, kicked around. We were abandoned, outcast, neglected. Guess what? All you bullies, I don't want to address you as a bully. You're not a bully. All the bullies that abused us. Guess what that does to us? Well, we become amazing and wonderful and strong. And we're in our villain arcs. And the world is changing. So you gotta deal with that now. We're in leadership mode, and we're gonna get things done because we know how to do it right. So we're tired. We're tired of people not listening to us, so we speak up. We're tired of being kicked around, so we kick back. You know, the average citizen needs to embolden and empower themselves to be the best that they can. Okay, no more slouching, no more littering, no more bad words. You gotta be in leadership mode. You gotta actually do something that that works out. My camera usually dies after 30 minutes. It's 22 right now. But I could look at that. So, well, I'm looking at you. Let's see. See, leadership mode, you gotta work with what you got. And so I got you, my Canon camera. And, I'm just gonna stare at you. Yeah, and while you're recording, I mean, charging back up. I wonder if the pixels is there. Interesting. There's usually a pixel out of place in the photos, and when I'm recording video, it likes to dance. But that usually only happens when it's heated up, and it's about to heat up right now. So, for leadership mode, I gotta make the most of this time I got with you right now. And that's another thing. We leaders, we don't want to bring one part of our lives into the other part. For example, if you have a family, a loving family that you're providing for, and you got like a job, and say something happened on the job that's kind of stuck in your mind, when you drive back to your house, it's in the red right now. It's gonna stop recording in a minute. There we go. We lost that. Battery's still fine. Test the heat. Yeah, it's hot right now. Maybe it does that for its own protection. Or whatever. I'm gonna keep filming. Okay, so battery's full. I'm still gonna talk to you. So you are where was that? Battery died. So anyway, you got this job, right? And bio break. You know, it's difficult. Wearing lipstick. I mean, I think the top of my lipstick is gone. I need to drink more water. Shut you off. Okay. Grab you. Talk to you for a while. Alright, so, behind the scenes. Content for you. That's about all you get to see. Okay. Okay, so my point was, you know, if you have a loving family, if you're providing for a loving family, and you have a job, and so say you come back from this job, right, and you're in a car, and the job, it was super stressful, and, you know, something happened that it was still in your mind, and so a technique for leadership mode that you can work on is that you don't want to bring the work stress to your family life. You don't want to bring the family stress to your work life. So the leadership mode advice for that scenario is to be your best in the moment, at that moment. Give it your all to that moment. So when you're with your family, you give your best and be in the mode, be in the moment with the family. When you're at the job, you're at your best in the moment at the job. So when the job's still on your mind and you're driving back, you know, when you park your car, your next thing is to go into the house, right? Well, if you're still stressed out because you left the job's on your mind, you're driving, drive, and then you're parked. Your next task is to get out of the car and walk, and then open the door. That's the the mechanical mind. And so a technique for you is to, after you park the car, well, actually, before you drive and the work situation is stressful, just sit in your car. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to get all depressed, because you don't want to take that onto the road with you. The road is dangerous, and when you're driving, you're in drive mode. You're in survival mode. And so, before you drive, for your own safety, and for the benefit of your family, because you're still alive, you just sit there, calm yourself down, and then take the drive. Think about whatever. Think about driving, actually. Think about driving, and then when you get to your house, don't immediately get out. Just calm yourself. Meditate a little bit. Relieve yourself of that stress. So by the time you open that door, and then your little kids are running at you, or your pets are jumping up and doing all their funsy stuff, or you gotta embrace your mate, right? Like, if you got one. You want to be loving, you want to be gentle, and so you don't want to like come home with all that stress and just push everybody aside. You take the time in your car to relax, and then you go out to your loving home and you embrace them, because that's what you're doing the job for, is for them. And so you want to make time for them. Another thing about leadership is that you say you got no time. No, you make the time. Okay, if something's valuable to you, you are responsible to make the time for it. Yes, I am recording. Okay, good. Yes, leadership mode. Welcome to leadership mode. It's fun. It's fantastic. Be in the mode of leadership, and moment by moment, be in the moment. Be in the zone. We all face leadership in different scenarios, in multiple ways throughout our lives. When we're children, and we see that one kid stole an item from another kid, we enter leadership mode when we say, no, stealing was wrong. Give that thing back to the other kid. Like, it's not just an adult thing. I mean, there are plenty of adults who are not leaders, and that's the frustration, is because, especially if you start out in this world shy like I did, you can't talk at all, and so you go through this life in shy mode, trying to like hide and stuff, but people see you anyway, so it's kind of awkward, because you're there, and then they sense you and you're all shy. And so that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Our true potential, when we're shy, when we're insecure, and we're in these moments, and when people stare at us, that phenomenon, I think they're picking up on our energy, on our potential of what we could be, what we could be socially, and yet they're sensing that disconnect, that we're not there yet. It's like a timeline thing. And so in the moment, that's when these people just stare, because they're sensing something from you. You got the potential. You're just shy right now. Right now you're shy. Right now you're kind of insecure. You don't know who to talk to or anything. And so these people will expect something from you, because they sense your soul. They sense more from you. And so when you're not delivering that, then conflict can arise. Like they're sensing something off, so they call you a liar. They're sensing you're not living up to your potential of courage, and so the universe kind of like makes them attack you. So you no longer can tolerate anything, and so you stand up for yourself. So you become that courageous, talkative person. and eventually, you know, you get the confidence, you get the experience, and you don't just sit in the background anymore if something's not going right. Then you speak up about it. Then you do something. Maybe the situation's going nowhere, so you actually have the courage to walk off and go somewhere else, you know, somewhere better worth your time and your energy. So that's that phenomenon of like you're there, but you're not at your best, and so people sense a disconnect, and so they treat you like an imposter, basically. That's one scenario, and that's why, because there is a disconnect, and so people are gonna react strangely. They're gonna call you names, or they're gonna call you're gonna project everything because they can't understand you. You're silent, you know, you're a mystery, and so in order to solve that mystery, they project. So you know, they're just waiting. I mean, you're observing. You're not required to talk to anybody, but just be aware that people are gonna sense something and react to it, whatever you're doing. So yeah, a theme for this reading is leadership mode. This welcome is to the 999 leadership mode numerological holiday. That is a special time event portal situation going on. 2025. Yeah, the 2 and the 2 and the 5 and the 0. You get 9. Okay. And so what's the 9th month? That's September. And then the 9th day. Here it is. This video is technically not on time. But time is relative anyway. So, you know, you can watch this whenever. This is leadership mode. You want to embrace leadership mode, you watch this. So, yeah, that was my story about leadership. Awesome. Okay. What else do I have to say? Let's see, I got a script here. It's time we grow up for realsies. Okay, another thing about leadership is, you know, when you're a kid and you look to the adults and you think they know exactly what's going on. There is a moment in childhood where you actually do look up at adults and you see them as masters, as adults, you know, because they know things, they know how to do things that we kids can't, like operate machinery and all this knowledge that they have from like history and math or the universe, like astrology or something. They got all this knowledge, and so we kids, we actually look up to them, not just because we're short and we have to stretch our necks up. So there is that rare moment in childhood where we actually admire the adults for being adults. This moment is quickly ruined because the adults are not adults. The adults are children, and it's often the children who are adults. And so, maturity. What is maturity? Well, it can refer to an age, but it refers to mental stability, mental progression, your soul, your soul, and how evolved you are as a human being. If you're mature, I was always mature as a child, and now I get to play, so I'm embracing the immaturity, seriously. And now, because I'm an adult, I can get paid for it by playing video games. I didn't get to do that as a kid. Now I can, and I get to make a profit off of it. So, fantastic, fun time. When you're a child, you're restricted, right? When you're an adult, you get to play. And so there's this terrible thing in society when you're adult, the world tells you to grow up to be an adult, and to put all your toys away. No, don't do that. Now, when you're an adult, you don't have your parents anymore. You don't have those abusive things telling you can't play. Now you can play all day. You can eat your snacks. If you want cookies, you can make the cookies. It's amazing being an adult. I mean, there's heartache and tragedy associated with being alive, but my point is, you can play now. Okay, always play. You know, my parents ruined my childhood because I was really into Pokemon, and so at that time when I was younger, I could handle the childish nature of Pokemon. Even back then, you know, I wanted a gritty story. I wanted something mature, but they did this cartoony thing with it. And so, yeah, I could barely tolerate the cartooniness of childhood cartoons back when I was a kid. And so they took that away from me. And now as an adult, I have the freedom to go back and watch whatever I want to watch. But now I'm much more mature, and I can't. There's no tolerance for the cartooniness. So you know, they ruined it because they took it away. I couldn't embrace it at the time. That would be most impactful to myself. So, you know, all of us, our childhoods have been damaged, and so you know, we have to reawaken that child just to play. We got this whole adult thing going on where we can protect ourselves now, and so there's no more fear. You know, we're gonna stand up for ourselves. We have bigger bodies now. We can actually fight, and so yeah, we gotta allow ourselves to go back into child mode and play. And so leadership mode is alright, so when you're growing up and you're a mature child, you look at all the adults, they don't know what they're doing. Okay, some children out there look up to the adults and they think all the adults know what they're doing, and then that child ages, gets to be in their early 20s, and then they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I thought all the adults knew what they were doing when they were in their 20s. And then you get to 30, and you start freaking out because society tells you you have to be accomplished and have your own house and like 4 kids and pets by the time you're 30. And in this economy, you can't do that. So we all feel like failures. We all feel held back. We all feel like we're not living up to it. And for us women, you know, where are the men? We've been waiting around for these men. We're the receivers. We put ourselves out there to be found, but what do we get? We get boys. We get childish, immature stick figures. There's no muscles. And you know, back in the day, women were reliant on the men to provide the income. We did the whole baby thing, and so the men did the income thing, and you know, the economy has changed. It's so nice. We got civil rights now. That's fantastic, where we can divorce people, where we can actually earn an income and live on our own, so we escape from the abuse. I mean, that's fantastic. We're not trapped in this whole baby making thing. We can actually have a career. That's fantastic. But the thing is, where are the men? Where did they go? Where the hell are the men? Leadership mode. All I see are boys. All I see are little scrawny stick figures, spewing out obscene obscenities, offensive things towards women. And there's no men. There's no men with the muscles, with the protection, with the love, with the romance. That's what we need in this world, because the women, we're waiting on you, men, to man up. Like, look, we understand we're in a terrible economy. We want to work. We want to provide for ourselves, so we're not reliant on you, so we can leave you at any time. If you show any signs of abuse, we can take off because we got our own incomes. And so, the whole leadership thing, it's like, it's time to be an adult. It's time to be romantic. It's time to take our job seriously. It's time to treat people with respect. We can't just crumble into this, like, oh, someone else will do it. Someone else will take care of that. We're here right now. We gotta do this. We gotta take care of this. And, you know, on the clubs, on the dance floors, there's so many men disrespecting women, and no one stands up for them. Even the bartenders will serve drinks to these abusive men instead of kick them out of the bars. That's terrible. For your patrons, for your business, for your soul. It's time we take responsibility in every single way possible. And so, yeah, the thing about growing up as a kid, we think we're banned from all these adult places, right? We think when the adults go into these adult places, they're having fun, they're being amazing, and all this awesomeness, and we feel shunned, we feel banished. It's like, oh, we're a kid, we can't enter that place. Well, I've been to those places because I'm an adult, I'll tell you. Everybody there, they're not adults. They're childish. They're immature. And all these places, they're miserable. Everybody's miserable. They're sitting at these bars drinking all day long, drinking away their sorrows as a crutch to get through life, because they can't take the responsibility to actually deal with their emotions. And so they project, they lash out. These adult places, they're not fun, okay? You're not missing out on much of anything. Play your video games while you still can. I mean, some games are timeless, like Minecraft. It's a favorite amongst us adults. That's not a child game. It's scary, okay? You go to sleep and monsters spawn. We're minding our own business. It's kind of an adult thing too. So, yeah, it's not just for kids. Come on, grow up. Play your video games, and profit off of it. So, anyway, yeah. The childhood perspective. You may think that adults have some things going on, some things figured out, and in rare moments, they are actually specialists in their field, but for the most part, I'll tell you a secret if you're a child watching this, and for your adults, for confirmation, you know, no one knows what they're doing. We're all adapting, we're all getting through life, and that's why everybody's drinking, that's why everybody's doing drugs, because they can't function. And so they turn to all these different things to distract them, when what they should be doing in leadership mode is actually dealing with all the pain and misery and transmute it into art, into actual structure. We take our bad experiences and we provide a good foundation for good experiences to happen in the future for the next generation. And that's what we gotta do as individuals, regardless of who you are, what age, which gender, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, regardless of your maturity level. But my audience is mature, so I don't know. Regardless of what or who you are, you gotta take responsibility. Okay, you can't litter, you can't say bad words. You gotta actually realize that you're talking to a human being, and they got emotions, they got feelings, they got their own traumas, and so you can't just project badness to everyone around you. You have to provide a good environment. That is leadership mode. We all feel lost, we all feel anxious, we all feel abandoned, we all feel scared, and so we just go through it. We keep doing something, we get used to it, and that's how mastery is achieved, is by actually doing something. We may feel terrified in the moment that we're doing it, but then we get into that flow, we do it again and again and again, and suddenly we master something, and so then we can be that mentor, then we can be that actual mature adult that some child somewhere can actually look up to and say, yeah, I want to be like that. So, come on, as an adult, don't you want to be inspirational? Or do you want to be like the example of what not to be? No, you want to be the example of what to be. And that's leadership mode. So yeah, that's it for this angle. Okay, still recording? Yes. It's up to you now. So, in this world, there seems to be some kind of mechanic where the leaders we got in our current system, like the top people, the special people at the top, like a Congress and all these military things, like this like special super legal kind of important, so-called important things, the government, okay? All these government things, all these people in power, all these people in control, the people at the top, who we take the orders from, there seems to be some sort of, like, mechanism of mockery, where all these people at the top, the very top, including in our own Congress, which is like a big room full of paperwork, and people, like, try to decide things. It takes forever. They don't ever decide things. But, the people there, in this mechanism of mockery, they can't even do basic little things. Like, it's the worst people at the top. They're all selfish, they're all immature. They, on live camera, they're like ripping up papers because they're throwing a tantrum. Another person thought that islands were floating, and he was a government person where everybody takes orders from, and here's this specialist talking representative, and he's like, I'm concerned that the island's gonna capsize, and go look that up. Congress, capsize, island, it's hilarious. But yeah, it's just the immaturity, ripping up papers when you're filmed in a legal, very formal, official thing. It's just, oh gosh. I mean, the people at the top, it's like they're skating by life. They want the money, they want the benefits, but they don't actually want to provide. They don't want to actually change things. It's like they have no desire to harmonize. Like they're okay with things decaying and rotting. Whereas like a true leader, they take a position of power because they have this desire to build, to grow, they see a problem, and so they're like, this is the solution, this is how we build up to make that a reality. And so they're reluctant, they don't want to have all the power, all the control. They got this project that they're working on, and so they step up into leadership mode, and that's how they get their project done. And then by doing that, they see all the other so-called leaders in these positions of leadership, and they're not good enough. And so they're like, I gotta do something about this. I'm here, I'll take the top position because I can actually get things done. So, that's what we're doing. Because the old paradigm, it's crumbling. The old paradigm's crumbling down. And, we are the outcasts. We are the ones at the bottom where all these crumbling rocks, well, they hit us in the head. We're buried. So we gotta crawl out with our bloodied hands and everything. And so when we get out from all this tragedy, from all this suffering, we know what we're doing. And so we're gonna get things done. We've been delayed. We've been held back. We've been kicked around. We had to fight to survive. And now we're here in this new world. And this is leadership mode. Leadership mode. This is leadership mode. And it's time we take responsibility for absolutely everything in our lives. You always feel like a kid because you don't know what you're doing. Everything's new and different, and so you're clinging on to something. Now you can really feel like an adult, even if you are a kid. Take responsibility. See a problem, fix that problem, provide, protect. You know, it's time we actually grow up for realsies. Okay, so who am I? I'm the jester. Alright, so who am I? I'm the jester. I am the result of being an only child in an abusive family, and I am now the child that resulted from an accident. You know, my father didn't wear a condom, and now here I am. You know, my mother, in the hospital when I was being born, she was screaming at my father, like, you did this to me, get this out, it's all your fault. Screaming this. And so, that's how I came into this world. You know, welcome to Earth, kid. Here's an abusive family. Gosh, I mean, what do they say? Happy birthday? Golly, the only birthday I had, I invited other children over, and I was 7 at the time. And so all these other kids, I didn't really know them, but I wanted friends. And so we were playing the balloon game, where we have to toss a balloon and catch it, you know, not let it hit the ground. It's one of my favorite games. I'm gonna let my cats play that in the future and record it. So anyway, so you can see it. Anyway, back when I was 7, we were playing this game, a balloon, and so all the other kids, guess what they did? Well, the balloon was going over the couch, and so I, the birthday girl, the one who loves the balloon game, I'm like, I'll get it. And so I ran over, and it was like this couch with like a triangle edge wall thing, and so there was space behind the couch. And so I was crawling over, and I was reaching out for the balloon, because I'm so short as a child. And what did they do? I hear them whispering. There's a mirror. I can see them whispering at each other and pointing. And so what do? They tell each other to push the birthday girl over the couch. And so I, on my birthday, when I was 7, I landed on my head. And then here's this balloon that flies up because of the wind. And so they catch the balloon, and they go off and play again. In my house, on my birthday, while I have a potential head injury, and I'm crying. And so like I like hold my head, and I'm on the back of the couch, and I'm like holding myself, and I'm sobbing, and I'm crying. And yeah, so that was my birthday experience. Not a happy birthday. And so what happens? My abusive parents, they didn't do a thing. Like, I was eventually found a while over. They're like, where's Jamie? Where's jESTeRJaMiSeN? And here I am crying on my birthday over the couch with a head injury, because the other kids that I invited personally were too busy playing with their balloon, my balloon. And I loved Pokemon. at the time. Oh wait, I couldn't have been 7. Maybe I was. Pokemon just came out, probably. Anyway, and so I loved Pokemon. There was Pokemon stickers that I watched my parents buy, and to me, I wanted the Pokemon stickers, but they only gave the Pokemon stuff to my guests, to the other kids there. There wasn't enough for the birthday girl to have Pokemon things. And so, you know, that's not a happy childhood. I mean, they gave my Pokemon things to the children who sacrificed me on my birthday. Parents, if you're gonna be a parent, you gotta have the responsibility of being a parent, okay? Apparently, you don't have that responsibility, most parents. Parents have a big responsibility, and men in particular, you need your condoms, okay? It all starts with you, okay? Your lust, what does that result in? It results in a woman being pregnant, and the guy taken off, and the girl so stressed that she takes out all her frustration onto the children, onto the child. It's just a cycle of abuse, all because the men are lustful, and so they can't take responsibility. They make all this life and then run away from it. Men, I don't just want to bash on men, but there is an epidemic of men who do this. So you, as a man, you need to take leadership. You got to tell the other guys to back off if they're making some girl uncomfortable. You got to actually protect. Because there's way too many men who just attempt to sleep around with everyone and not take responsibility for it. You need your condoms, okay? If you're a man. Women, if they don't have a condom, don't put up with that. Say no. Okay. You got this whole tampon thing. It shouldn't be your responsibility to buy the condoms. That's on the guy's part. You gotta buy tampons, and the guy, he doesn't have to have sex, but you, as a biological woman, have to bleed all the time, so you have to buy the tampons. The man has to take the responsibility to buy the condoms, because he doesn't need the sex. No, he wants the sex. So, women, you need to raise your standards, because we can't tolerate all this boyish, immaturity right now. It is an incredibly abundant time for new life. Okay, I'm seeing signs everywhere, and the signs, like, in the walls and all these shapes. Okay, these physical shapes that I'm seeing. Guess what they look like? Okay, they look like tadpoles. They look like tampons. They look like sperm. Okay, this is a sign from the universe that it is an incredibly abundant time to create life. And if you're not desiring to create life, you gotta be extra cautious, especially around this time. And so, it's a wonderful sign for new businesses, because it's a physical manifestation. If you're making a merch line, more merch products, merchandise, then you can, that's a sign. It's gonna take off, it's gonna grow, it's gonna be abundant, and so is life. And so men, what are you? You're the people who instigate the process of making life, and so you have extra responsibility for the life thing, okay? You gotta take that responsibility, you gotta be there. If you do impregnate a woman, you gotta take care of her. You can't just abandon her. There's so many men who do this. And so, yeah, it leads women to suicide because of this. It's an issue that you need to take responsibility for. Because the world is suffering, and someone needs to step up. You know. So, if you're gonna be a parent, you have a very big responsibility for that child. It's better if If you have no intention to be a parent, if you have no intention of losing your life to a child, get an abortion. Okay, I fully support you with that. You know, society may try to prevent you, but what does society want? Society wants to bring you down. Society wants to delay your progress. And so if you're trapped in your own body with something growing, it's your right. It is your natural right for you to decide whether you want that or not. We got the technology to get it out. We have the technology to get it out. Okay, parents need to take responsibility. It is better to have a happy childhood than to just exist because you were told you have to exist. I was raised with abusive parents, a long line of abusive families, and my life was a tragedy. You don't want something you created to end up as a tragedy. And so it's better to kill them off early. Now, that doesn't condemn the soul. The soul is free to go find a different parent, to stay in the spiritual realm. Okay, don't let the religions, like, make you think like you're doing something wrong. What the religions want is for you to be controlled. And so if you're trapped in your own body, you're controlled. You're stuck there. As a woman, we have to provide for this thing. And so what made that happen? Men made that happen. And so men need to provide for the woman and the child. And yet, in this current modern trendiness, men aren't taking responsibility. They're taking the path of least resistance. They're messing things up. And that needs to end. That really needs to end. I am sick. I am sick of this world's addictions. I am tired of this world's lies. I am bored of these people's insecurities. I'm so frustrated at these people's minds. You got your smokers, you got your druggies, you got your addicts of all kinds. They're nothing more than weaklings. They're unable to admit that they're scared. And so, what do? They're scared to feel alive, so they cling to all these things that affect everyone around them, that ruin people's lives. So parents have a really big responsibility. I am that neglected child who grew up. So what am I? What am I? I am the only child in an abusive family. I am that neglected child who grew up. So you want to know what I became? From all this abuse, from all this abandonment, you want to know the result of a child raised in that situation. The result is me. I have become their worst nightmare. So it's time we throw away the regulations and the rules of the old. We gotta create our new ones. We gotta create things that are actually functional. We gotta be there for the people in our lives. We gotta actually do things, step up, become leaders. Now, soldiers, are you going to continue to obey for just one more day? Like the puppets that you truly are? Or, I mean, if your commanders are giving you unjust orders, then it is your responsibility as a soldier to do something about that, to overtake your command structure. It's your duty, your responsibility, your moral obligation is to disobey. You must rebel against the injustice. You took an oath to protect and to... You took an oath to protect and defend from foreign and domestic threats, and that includes your command structure. This is your field. It's up to you to change it from the inside. This is your responsibility. So what are you doing? You're obeying your commanders. Soldiers, are you just gonna keep obeying, keep marching in line? Are you going to continue the obedience just for one more day? Like the puppets, you really are. You know they're wrong, and yet you're too afraid to lash out, to speak up. If your commanders are giving you unjust orders, your duty, your responsibility, your moral obligation is to disobey. You must rebel against any injustice, and that includes your command structure. It's time you get promoted. It's time that you promote yourself. This is your field. This is your responsibility. It's time that you actually get promoted. It's time that you promote yourself. Now, teachers, are you going to continue to not educate your students? You, as a teacher, are restricted by the... What's it called? Not the algorithm. The arithmetic. The teachers have this structure where they're only supposed to teach little by little, and so the teachers aren't actually teaching by themselves. They're reading from a script. They're reading from a book that's already made for them in these teaching institutions. And so you got students down here that are eager, that are ready to learn, that are ready to go from step 1 all the way down to step 100. And yet your structure, your teacher structure, is forcing you to only do 1 to 10 when they're ready to go from 1 to 100. Individual students, sure. Some will have that 1 to 100 focus and drive, and so you're going to hold them back? Are you going to let their minds decay and hold them back from their actual education because they're ready to learn? That doesn't sound fair. That needs to change. Okay, sure, we got a lot of kids in classrooms who don't want to learn, so they shouldn't be there. Okay, that's their decision. They don't want an education, they don't want to learn. But there are students who want to go from 1 to 100 within one course, within one thing. Not because they just want to be fast, because they're ready. They're absorbing. They want everything, and they can handle everything right now. And you're restricting them by these programs, by these seasons. And so one student could have excelled all this time within one particular season, but your program only makes it 10 seasons. And so what happens? Well, that kid ready to learn, well, maybe they only have a bicycle, and so they show up and they're shunned by the teachers because they're late, because they're tardy, because the teachers don't get involved in the kid's life, and so they just go into drone robot mode and speak off of a script, and then the student suffers. When they're ready to learn, they're held back, and so they have to ride their bicycle more and more. That exhausts them because they're ready to go from 1 to 100 in one setting, and the system's holding them back, making them do 10 settings, which is far more expensive and tiresome to this kid on a bike. So that can all change if you change it, because you are in that field. So it's up to you to make that change, to actually
teach something. Yeah, here's another thing about leadership mode. I don't have a pet, right? Because I'm taking a responsibility because I can't provide for a pet. I don't have a pet. And so, what do? I watch cat videos online all day because I like cats. And so I'm forced to see trendy people posting cat videos where they complain about their cat not paying rent. Okay, they say their cat lives with them rent free. What the hell? You're you're supposed to be a provider. Okay, it is a blessing you have an animal at all, and it's just now they're saying, oh, this pet of mine that I'm taking full responsibility for, that I'm their master. Yeah, they're living here rent free. They complain. They get in their cat's face and they complain. They demand things like, why aren't you paying the rent? And so, what is this? Okay, cats in particular, they're smarter than dogs. They're gonna pick up on a lot more of these emotions, and all they know is some trendy human is like pointing at them all day long, yelling at them, complaining like, why aren't you doing this and this? Is that annoying? Huh? What do you think your cat's doing? It's gonna scratch you. And then you think cats are bad, cats are evil. No, it's the human. Take some responsibility for that. Okay, of course your pet is living with you rent free. It's a pet. You paid for the pet because you were adult enough to go get an income to actually provide for yourself so you can provide for others. Okay, I don't want to see this childish, immature trendiness anywhere else on the internet. Come on. This is disgusting behavior. Grow up. Like, take some responsibility for your pet. This is trendyism. Okay, it's an invasive force on this universe. And, you know, posting a video demanding money from your pet, that's a mental disease. Okay, that needs to be eradicated. Golly. Look, if you don't respect your cat enough, I mean, if you're demanding rent money from your cat because you don't respect the cat, well, you don't deserve to have a cat, okay? There's a loving family that could actually behave better so that cat can actually be in a loving home. Golly. Another lesson about leadership mode is that we were raised to believe, in the old paradigm, that life is competition. That we need to be fast, we need to step on people, push people aside to get to the top. And then once we're at the top, we're supposed to be mean and demanding of the people lower than us. That is a terrible way to live. Okay, we've been on the lower end. We know the effect of that. And so as we rise in this new era of leadership, we're not going to be like that, okay? Life is not a competition. It's open. It's open source. It's all about the effort that you put into your life. Okay, things don't work out, sure. But you know, that refocuses you onto a path more suited for you. And so you got to think abundantly. Have an abundant mindset. And then life's not a competition. It's all about you. You got your equal opportunity. What are you going to do about that? So you got to make things happen for yourself. And when you get to a position of leadership, you have responsibility to treat people like you would when you were down here. Okay? You can't be this evil tyrant. You got to actually wait for the interference to leave. You can't actually be an evil tyrant when you have a leadership mode. You gotta treat people with respect. Okay, the best leaders, they connect with the people that they're leading. They're inspirational. They understand what they're going through. They talk to the people. They don't just demand. Okay. That's not how life works. That's not the abundant way to go. If you want to thrive, you got to make the people on the bottom thrive as well. Okay. There was this horrible thing back in the day where there were people that were well off, and then there was a servant class, right? In some time in history, the servant class was dressed in rags, and so they're like distinguished differently. They're treated badly. You know, they're made in every way. They're given small quarters. They're given less food. They're dressed in rags, and they're the servant class. And these people at the top, they wouldn't have their lives without these servants doing everything for them. And so then there was another part of the world who actually dressed up their servants and provided good living situations, provided healthy meals. And so this servant class, this isn't a bad deal at all. They get to live, they get a happy life, they're provided for, because the people who are their leaders, they're actually lifting them up. They're actually providing them with a job, with a place to live, with good food, good clothes. It's a fantastic gig, you know. So do you want to treat people like some slave race, or do you want to treat people like amazing servants who are actually going to be loyal because they're treated right? So there's that dynamic. Okay, so this is it. That was your leadership lesson. I went off script because interference. Okay, so this is it. That was your leadership mode advice for the first video. And so, what this is a tarot reading. This is leadership mode, the Numerological Holiday of 999. And so, that is September 9th, 2025. And so I got 10 piles for you. Why do you think there's 10 piles in a 999 reading? Well, because there was twice drawn cards and thrice drawn cards. And, more interference. This is the 99 portal. This is the 99 portal. Tonight I have for you 9 different readings, plus another one, because some cards wanted to come out in multiple readings, 2 times or 3 times. So we got special 10 reading, number 10 reading, as a bonus reading, as a collective reading for the overall energies of the 999 portal. So you got that to look forward to. Are you tired of actually waiting around for something to watch? Well, you have an opportunity to make something yourself. Are you waiting on the video game role plays, and you're frustrated that nothing's coming out yet? Well, you can play a video game and make your own role play. This is leadership mode. I want to see your role plays. Use clean language so I can watch it too. So tonight, I am going to provide you the gift of leadership mode. Yay! You get to take responsibility for your life finally. It's fantastic, and I want to see what you do with it. So, you're gonna remember this, and one day in the future, you're gonna visit my merch site and buy something to support me, so I can continue to support you in every way, motivationally, entertainingly, and I get $7, and you get entertainment. So there's that. It's a win-win-win situation. You get a fancy shirt, you get a fancy mug, I get an income, and I can entertain you forever, as long as I live on this planet. It's a win-win-win situation. So, tell me, are you ready to make a deal? So tell me, are you ready to make a deal? I have a charming opportunity for you. Alright, I put those. Alright. So tell me, are you ready to make a deal? I have a charming opportunity for you. Here they are. These are the charms. And I will show you an extended video of me filming these charms. And so you can choose one. I forgot. My camera doesn't focus. There we go. This is your charming opportunity to choose with your charming intuition a charm for you. So first I will show you the charms dramatically, theatrical, and you get to choose what charm you resonate with the most. This will be a test of your intuition. With leadership mode, you gotta be intuitive, and so this will test your intuition. If you would be so charmed, I have a charming opportunity for you. And so these charms will come out first. You can choose your charm, and then later I'll put the charm next to the card, the back of the card, that you get to look at and use your intuition again. And then at the very end, I'll flip those cards over. I'll pull one card from each pile. There's 10 piles. Remember, the 10 is the bonus pile. And so, if you just want the charms, you can choose your pile with that, or you can stay till the end, or you can stay till the end and see what card flips out anyway. It's all up to you with your charming intuition. So, take your time. I want this to be an exercise for you, where you meditate, because I give you plenty of time, and then you go down into the description, and you select your pile, which is a different video, because they're so long. This was quite the project for me, but I wanted to enter leadership mode, and so it was important for me to get all my words out. I didn't want to cut anything off, and so you got extra content, and it's coming out. You may have noticed that I didn't meet my deadline of 999 on September 9th of 2025, and so if you're just seeing this right when it comes out, the videos will come out like reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, so on. They'll come out one after the other, because I gotta get this video out. But the thing is, if you're from the future, which most of you are, you won't notice. So you can go ahead and click on the links. But if you are in this current time, it'll say, like, coming soon with the link. So, there's that. But reading 1 should at least come out with this video, so you got something to watch. But I'm working on all the others, so know that I'm doing that in the background. Hopefully I get them all out this month. That's my goal. With leadership mode, here's another thing. Things don't always work out, so you gotta adapt, you gotta learn, and you gotta grow from it. So just because you don't meet your deadline, what, are you gonna do nothing? Or are you gonna work on it? You're gonna make it the best it can be, and be at your best. You know, if you get all sleepy, you gotta sleep, right? So that's time. And then now you're here in the morning, afternoon, and you're presenting with the energy because you took the time to rest with paint all over your face. So yeah, that's what I got for you. So in the following piles there is going to be various leadership themed advice, and so you may want to watch all of them, even if it doesn't really fit your situation. You get to learn more about leadership, and so here is your charming opportunity. Okay, so you're gonna go be charmed, and I'm gonna go edit the rest of the readings. Alright, enjoy the charming process.